Oh, you did, you looked at it last night?
Yeah, looked at it last night.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
Well, come here, take a look. You look here. And you go, it's not there, there's only Monday, right?
I know, I scrolled all the way down.
I know, you scroll all the way down, because that's Monday.
Yeah?
Read the very top, the very first line after the title.
Oh. So that one just has like ones that are gonna be coming out?
Yeah, so you did that after I sat down at probably 6:30 or 7, and I moved it.
Oh, okay.
And then what I did is I put it on here, so you click on this one,
Yeah, okay.
first day of class, and then you go, you do option arrow down or command arrow down, and then you go, there it is.
Yeah, okay,
I should've said
I
it.
didn't see that.
Yeah. Okay, so now you know. So we should discuss this. What do we want to talk about with this one? Or you just want me to give you answers so you can check your work? What do you think? I'd like it if there was one that stumped you. You should make a mark by them. 29. Jackson, how far did you get?
I did.
Marvis, did you work on this lesson?
Page 255.
Yes.
I'm on 25.
You're on 25?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then that's essentially through it, isn't it? But Leo, you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
And then Yana, or later today, depending upon what your schedule is like. Okay, so, well, which one do you think it is that stumped you, Dawson?
I think it's 29. Yeah.
29, way all off in review land.
Yeah.
How about before that?
No.
Okay, so what I'd like to do then, seeing as you only have the odds for answers in the back of the book, I want to give you the even answers, or some of them at least, so you can check what you're doing. This kind of stuff, you know, it's just kind of grinding out numbers, grinding out answers. So when you go from 2 to 15, you know, you can check letter, or number 3, right? What did you have for number 3? AB over 14, yes.
Yeah.
But then for number 4, what do you have?
X times 3y over 30 and z is 4.
But the 3 and the 30 simplify to 1/10.
Okay.
So that should just be xy over 10z squared. For number 7, which of those does not belong? Which is not like the others?
I said D.
You say D?
Yeah, I said D.
Yeah, because the n is on the bottom. And the first 3, n is either on the top or in the middle. And if n is in the middle, we can think of that as n over 1. We always think of it that way. That goes back to the very first lesson of the year. Boy, oh boy, 8. Holy buckets. What does 8 simplify into?
8 over 75, 325 would simplify to 8 1/3.
That's 8 on the third, huh? Think so? Would you like to see something on your calculator? Go to your calculator and enter 1875 divided by 225. What did you say it was, 8 2/3?
8
1/3. So if you do 1875 divided by 225 on your calculator, what does it read?
8.3 repetitions.
Yeah, 8.3 repetend. A 0.3 repetend is a third, right? But if you have something else on here, where's your calculator? Okay, good. if you have something else on here, there is something that you can do. Here's what you want to do. You have your 8.3, so do 1875 divided by 225. Hit equals, and then you have 8.3 repetend. Now, without hitting any other keys, hit math. And you see how number 1 is fraction? Hit enter. And then it says answer frac. Hit enter again. And what does it do? 25 over 3. Yeah, it's really cool. And you can go back and forth. You know, if you took that one there, if you needed that as a decimal number, you just do math, you scroll down to decimal, you hit enter, enter again, then it gives you back 8.3 repetend. Powerful tool. There are ways to change everything so that it gives you fraction answers too, within reason. Some fractions are a little too much for its memory. But anyway, okay, let's keep on going. What about number 10? What do you get for 10? 2m over 3p, yes, because the 10 and 15 simplifies to 2/3 and the n's cancel out. Good. And then we get into like 11, 12, 13, 14. Those are the ones that are more like the money problems. So, how about number 14? It doesn't work. 1 does not work for number 14. What did you get, Dawson?
Which one?
14.
I got 1 4.
Yeah, but there's still n times n in the numerator. Marvis, what did you get for 14?
Got 6n over 24.
6n over 24, yes, but then the 6 and the 24 need to be simplified.
I cancel out the n's because instead of multiplying both n's, I just people them both out. Oh, that's totally funny.
Can't do that. It's a 4 times 2n times 3n over 6. So that 2n, that's the same as 2n over 1. So the n's don't go away in this problem. But the 2 and the 4 becomes 1 and a 2. And the 3 and a 6 becomes a 1 and a 2. So that's n squared over 4. And that's how that one goes. Gotta focus on these. These really need to happen. So then we have 7v over x squared times x squared over 7v. What does that equal? 1. Yeah, that all cancels out. X squareds go away, the 7v over 7v is equal to 1, so that's 1. Okay. So then your single-story house, Dawson, for number 29, is to be built on a lot that's 75 feet by 100 feet deep. And the shorter side of the house faces the street. The house must be set back from the street at least 25 feet. And they've got a picture there for us. It must be 20 feet from the back of the lot line and 10 feet from each side of the lot line. So the biggest that the house can be, the footprint of the house. I think if we go 75 across, everything is feet. And it's 100 long. Then you need to have a setback of, what's the setback gonna be? 25?
Yeah.
So we gotta take 25 away from this. And then there's gotta be how much from the back? It's gotta be 20 feet. So we gotta subtract 25 and 20. So how long can the house be? 55. And then we have to be what? 10 from each lot line, is that right? So you have 10 over here, you have 10 over here, and that gets subtracted from that. So you can have a 55 by 55 house. So then the area that the house could be, area is length times width, and it's gonna be a square house, it's gonna be whatever 55 squared is. It's like, is it 2,995? Okay. So then, do you want to ask more about this lesson? Marvis?
I don't think I understand.
Well, then we'll go ahead. So, lesson 5-2, division. Yes. Yep. Oops, notebook, division of algebraic fractions.
It's not that it's like zooming through the book.
Yeah, when you meet 5 days a week, you zoom through the book.
It's like a lesson a day.
Yeah. Last year, I know I finished 5 chapters before finals. I think we finished 6. It was just,
Did you always have 5 days a week throughout the class?
I have for a few years now. That was my biggest gripe about the schedule, is that I need Algebra 1 to be in 5 days, because Algebra 1 is the most important of all the high school math classes, to be able to make sure you can see all of the different content.
Have the building block.
You know, these are all the basics. You know, every single one of these we use. And if you don't have them, and then we have to teach them in the middle of geometry or in the middle of Algebra 2, and that's like,
So it's everything.
yeah, that's like learning how to fly after you fall out of the nest. A little late. So, let's go back. Let's make it straightforward. 1/2 divided by 1/3, how much is it? I'm just gonna review very basics of division of fractions.
1 and 1/2.
1 1/2. How do you know that?
Because reciprocal on 3.
So you take the fraction and multiply it by the reciprocal. So it's 3/2. But you can leave it as either one if we're just working with digits, just numbers like this. If there's no units, call it 3/2 if you're okay with that. If you like writing it as 1 1/2, go right ahead. So, in terms of a model for that, if I take a half, that's this, there's a half of a circle. If we divide by 1/3, what we're asking is, we're asking how many times does that 1/3 fit into this number? That's what division is, right? You know, like 10 divided by 2, how many times does 2 fit into 10? 5. So my third, in this case, is 1/3 of a circle. So 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. No, what the heck, I just did sixths. Oh, I can't do this, there we go, there it is. So thirds, let me think, how am I gonna divide this up? I'm gonna divide it like this. There, those are thirds. Okay, so 1/3 fits in there, and then this is half of a third. So this is like 1/3 and half of a third, or 1 1/2 thirds. So 1 1/2 fit in there. So that's 1 1/2 thirds. And these are our thirds. But the key to this, where we're at, is division is multiplication by the reciprocal. Can I show you that with this number here? 10 divided by 5, or 10 divided by 2 is equal to 10 multiplied by the reciprocal of 2. What is the reciprocal of 2? 1 over 2. Flip it upside down. So 10 times a half, or 10 halves, again, is 5. Now, in terms of this 1/2 divided by third, we can also do this. We could say a fraction divided by a fraction. And that means the same as this. So when we have something like a fraction divided by a fraction, we can just take this, take the denominator, and put its reciprocal on top against the numerator and multiply. So it's going to come out exactly the same. So now when we do this with algebraic fractions, we're just going to have variables in the place. So the very first example they give is x over 4 divided by 3/5. We'll just bang that one out real quick. X over 4 divided by 3/5. So when we have that, how would we rewrite this?
X over 4
That's 5 over 3. And then simplify that, we have numerators, 5x over 12. That's all. Then the next one they give us is a fraction over a fraction. 6x over 5 divided by 9x over 10. Ooh, they put example 2 here. 6x over 5 divided by 9x over 10. So there we are. So how could we rewrite this?
Can you simplify the 9?
You can't simplify 9x first, no. That's the way it is. It's just 9x over 10.
Can you simplify like both the fractions first?
Don't do anything when it looks like this. Take it to 6x over 5 times the reciprocal of this. 10 over 9x. Now simplify.
10 and 5 simplifies to 1, 2, and then 6 and 9 to
And x divided by x is 1. So then that's 2 times 2, and 3 times 1. So it's going to be 4/3. So that's what a lot of the lesson is grinding out and just getting used to and having practice with multiplying by the reciprocal, simplifying things, getting something that's complex broken down to its elements. That's what it is. You just double check that they don't go and throw something in there that they're going to ask us about later. I think we're okay. Oh, this is called a complex fraction. That's all. The property, the algebraic definition of division property of fractions is like this. A divided by B, A over B divided by C over D is A over B multiplied by D over C. And this is for all real numbers except B and D may not be equal to 0. So that's the property that they give us. It's kind of a rule, it's a pattern that we follow when we do division. So that's it. Then it's homework.